Hi, I'm Captain Mike. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I do decals on glass. I'm not real fond of them, but I have seen some beautiful work. I don't have an exhaustive collection of these. Most of them are kind of monochromic, I guess that's the word, monochrome, gold and black. They do make these things, these decals in colors, and but as you see here, this is kind of what I have done. And the unique thing about these decals are, I'm doing them in the microwave kiln, and they're not designed to be used in the microwave kiln. The instructions that come with these are very explicit on how to do it. They give you a complete firing schedule, and if you follow those, I'm sure you'll get great results. I'm going to tell you and show you what I have done and the results that I have achieved, and then I'm going to let you go from there. This one right here is probably the first one that I accomplished. I did it in a microwave kiln. It's not particularly pretty, but it is interesting. It was done on a piece of 6mm float glass. And then these that you see here are done on various pieces of float glass and some colored 90 COE glass. This one was a butterfly on a piece of bronze, or actually it's dark gray. This is the bronze right here, and then I have various colored ones. Here's a tree of life that is done on some aqua. Have some kitty cats, one on a pendant here, and another one on a piece of blue. The dragonfly on white, and another kitty cat on darker blue. Now, one of the things that happens when you do these in the microwave is you can't control the temperature, the rate, nor the holding temperatures. And what happens, and you probably can't see it clearly, I'll give it a shot. See the little break in the kitty cat right there? Okay. Things want to creep. They don't want to do as well as if they were done the way you're told to do them. Not all of them have breaks in the decal, but a good many of them does. This one here almost completely went away, if you can see it at all. Now, one of the reasons it didn't do well is it was sandwiched between two pieces of glass. It was sandwiched between a piece of a 3mm clear and a piece of 3mm blue. I have found that the sandwiched application does not work for me. You'll have to do the research on your own, get on YouTube and find out whether surface application, which means you put it on the top, or whether you want to experiment with putting it in the bottom. And here was my latest attempt at putting these on. This one here went in the middle, and I got an air bubble. Can you see the air bubble right there? It's got a bubble. You can hardly make out the koi fish. This was done on a piece of purple COE 90 capped with some clear that had some scale-like material. This one I did on the surface of it, and the koi fish is much more noticeable. Again, it was done on purple clear and purple transparent, and a piece of capped it with clear, and it has the iridescent scales in it. You can kind of see those. Okay, now again, this was on the top, but there are breaks in the actual decal. It's not too distracting, but it's not perfect, and I know that. So I'm pointing it out. And all these were done in the microwave kiln. So the butterflies came out great. And I did alter the schedule. I fired it like in 2-minute increments for 8 minutes, and I upped it to 3-minute increments until it turned until the decal looked like it was fused, and then I let it cool. The best results seems to be not on clear. This again is going to be your personal choice, something that you're going to have to play with. I'm just going to show you how I do the decals, and you will have to do the artsy bits, okay? Now, this little dragonfly came out pretty good. Actually, the little breaks in the wings there you see are not bad parts. It fused just great. It's gold on bronze, it looks like, but it shows up best on white. This was a piece of 3mm white glass, opaque, capped with a piece of 3mm clear, and I put the decal on top. So you can see the difference in how they show up when you have some kind of a backing. As you can see, Tree of Life doesn't show up too well, but there are applications for this. That's a decision you're going to have to make. Now, the first thing that you're really going to have to do is, if you're going to try this, is you're going to need to go ahead and make the pendant, or whatever you're going to make, whether it's a piece of glass that's already formed. In the case of these were like 3x3, but you know, you need to go ahead and get them fire polished and everything done that you're going to do to them. That's what you need to do. And the reason for that is, if you put it on the glass that's rough cut and you're trying to fire this to a finished product, it puts too much stress on the decal, in my humble opinion. I have not had very good results with that, so I always just get me up a bunch of these, whatever shapes, whatever colors, whatever I want to experiment with. You know, can be float glass. It does not matter to these decals whether you're using float glass, COE 90, COE 96, and of course you all know that I'm talking about making your pendant out of 2 pieces of glass. Cap it, trim the edges, however you want to do it, and fire it. And once you do that, you've got your pendants, and you're ready to go. Now, the decals, for those of you who didn't come up back in the 60s and 70s like I did and built tons of model cars that had decals on them, decals are just transferable pieces of art that I say water soluble. They transfer with water, and they come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. And these happen to come from AAE. I'll put the link below. There are lots of other people that have them, but I think they've been doing it probably, I don't know whether the longest, but I've been aware of them the longest. And as I said, they also come in colors. I don't have any of the colors. The closest I've got are the butterflies. And some of them will come with a coating on them, a piece of paper, that you will remove when you get ready to transfer them. And this one does have some color on it, so it'd be interesting to see how it came out. I think it was similar to this one originally. This one had some color on it too. Maybe would have looked nicer on a piece of white, but I did not do that. Now, what you're going to need to complete this project is your decals. You'll order them from the decal supplier of your source, usually a glass or art craft company. Get whatever you want. You'll need a container that has water in it. I use the top off of some vessel. Put warm water in it, and they say distilled water. You go right by the directions. I use it out of the well. That's just me. Y'all remember, that's just me. So, you know, if you want to go buy you a gallon of distilled water, it'll last you a long, long, long time. You can do all these things they say to do with distilled water. So I have my water, and the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your decal, and let's say we'll just use this little rascal right here, and I trim it. I take my scissors and I trim it reasonably close. You don't have to get too terribly carried away with it, but it just makes it easier for me to work with it. And then you'll put it in the water, and it's going to want to curl up, so you're going to have to work with it a while. And I usually just do this, and then I'll come back in just a minute and I'll talk about something else. We'll push it down again. It's because you want to keep it pushed down, and it'll finally flatten right on out, and in a few minutes it'll slide right off. Now, we'll slide this one off, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is after it has slid off on the glass and it has cured. When I say cured, they recommend it dries for 24 hours. Now, they also say at least 2 or 3 hours. So I let these dry for 24, which I really never have done before. I usually just, if I can stand the weight 2 or 3 hours, that's the schedule I use. Could be part of my problems. Part of my problem. I am no expert at this. I can put them on a car pretty good because there's no heating involved. Or an airplane, little model airplane. But that's what you do. And again, this is a microwave kiln. And, you know, you guys know I use a lot of these. And this is what this is about. Again, this is another microwave project. If you want to do them in your glass kiln or whatever, just follow the instructions. The instructions come with each one, and they tell you exactly what to do, right along with a firing schedule. And that's pretty much it. Now what I'm going to use on this one, this actually, interesting little piece right here, was a piece of mirror. And I put it in my microwave kiln, black side down, mirror side up, and fire it. And it turns it this neat little caramel color, and part of the mirror black paint or whatever, it scrapes off and it leaves it just like this. So we're going to use this because it's a neutral color, and I think this is going to slide off just fine. So what you do, let's see if this thing's been in here long. See, it don't take long. You pick it up a little bit and slide it. Okay, she's ready to come off. I take it and kind of dump the water off of it, and then ease it over here on your glass, just like this, and pull it off. Slide it right off. Now it's going to have bubbles and all kinds of things in it, so you're going to have to start working with it. And what I do first is get me a piece of paper, just a napkin, and I start, it's going to want to move with you, so just kind of be patient. Hold it on one edge, and I start smoothing it out like this. This does 2 things. This gets the excess water off, and it gets all the air bubbles out. Now the instructions tell you to use a squeegee and all that kind of stuff, and I am not saying that not to do that. I'm just saying this is what I do, and I will keep doing this and pulling the water off of it until it doesn't want to move on this piece anymore. And then you still can see the outline of the material that this is printed on. It's there, and it will burn away. Once it's sat for about 24 hours, believe it or not, is this the one? Yeah, you can hardly see it. It just kind of goes away. But this one hadn't been fired yet. So, I lied to you. Never trust what I say. This is the one, and you still can see it around it, so I lied to you. But this is the one that has not been fired. This one has been fired. And that's kind of what they look like. So once you get that done, you put it in your kiln, and as I said earlier, I find my schedule in the microwave kiln is to zap it for 2 minutes, check it, zap it for 2 more minutes, check it between each increment, and just to make sure the glass hasn't busted or something, which it will do occasionally. And after about 8 minutes, or 4 zaps, if you will, I up it to 3, and I will do it for 3 minutes until all the excess material has burnt away. And you'll see it, because this will turn white. I mean, at some particular point, you're going to look in there and this is going to be white. I find that this gets just about a dull red. It's good enough to go. And again, experiment. You can get a lot of different small ones to play with to get some idea. They're not too terribly expensive. As you get up into things like iguanas, dragons, and koi fish, and a lot of other things, they have a tendency to get a little more expensive. You can even get them with dogs on them. I mean, there's no end to it. Go online. Check all the glass companies. Check out AAE. They did not give me these. I had to pay for these. Nobody gives me anything, but that's fine. I can make an honest appraisal of everything. When you buy your own stuff, then you don't have to feel obligated to do anything like that. So that's it. I take it, and where's that piece at? Where's that piece at, Mike? After it dries, put it on your microwave kiln shelf and put it in the microwave and fire away. And that's what you're going to get. You're going to get some that are really neat in person. This is a really neat one, but it's just not going to show up in the video. The butterflies are pretty neat. But again, I'm not happy with the backgrounds, but they have their applications. Clear works better, and so does the white, as I mentioned before. What to do with my white? Things get gone around here in a heartbeat. They just fall off. I think my dog and my cat gets them when I'm not watching. All right, folks, that's it. No use boring you anymore. That is decals fired on glass, including float glass, in a microwave kiln. Try it. Have fun with it. Try some of the colored ones, and definitely look at the people's videos. There are a lot of videos on people doing this, and they're a heck of a lot better than me. I just wanted to include it because I experiment with it, and maybe I could do something and give you some ideas that might save you just a little grief. So that's it. That's my video on decals on glass in a microwave kiln. If you have suggestions, please make them. Any comments, good or bad, be adult, put them in the comments below, and we'll address them. I'll try to answer each and every one of you. Hit the like button and subscribe. I appreciate it. I'm Captain Mike, and I'm out of here.